Welcome, guys, to a semi different type of podcast setting. We're going to talk about only one topic today, so it won't really be like a normal thing that we do on Thursdays at 8 o'clock. So, you already know who I am. I'm NGO Mugen, co producer of New Gaming Order. Today, we have Alex Lexus, the other co producer of New Gaming Order. We also have Shin Babuma joining
Yo!
us as a guest, and we also have Free Play Modes Demizzle.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
All right. So the topic at hand
Oh, I
today.
can't do my juggernaut bitch
Go
also?
ahead.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Oh,
I mean, we're talking about the Juggernaut today, so might as well go ahead.
no. You that's alright.
He got punked off his own podcast.
Messed up my juggernaut bitch.
You can
It's all
do it.
good.
It's not like I'm
No,
censoring
I don't want to do it
you.
no more. I don't want to do it no more.
Rush.
He gonna do it. Watch. But the topic at hand today is bringing up how fighting games has changed over the course of the last 10 to 15 years. And the reason why I'm bringing up this topic because it's somewhat in a delicate sense, because some people say within the past fighting games were the best at its peak, and you was at an equal playing field in skill level, and everyone was able to come back and make like good moments of history of the games. And then some people have another side to it, saying that fighting games in their lifetime has caused controversy, even to the points where actual physical altercations and stabbings and even shootings had occurred during these fighting games.
I can't believe this.
And also people not wanting to conform or sustain what the fighting games have developed into now, which is the new age of fighters such as Street Fighter 4, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Dead or Alive, Tekken 6, and so on. So basically we're just gonna jump right into it in random order. Like I said, anyone can come out and start talking about it. Like I said, we're not gonna do it in some crazy, pick one person and they speak for like 15 minutes and then it's gonna be whoever feels like jumping in and bringing up a certain story they can. But one of the things I would like to talk about is, do people find it difficult to learn a fighting game when they see people doing infinite combos, and for them not to be actually playing the game to make them feel like they're just watching a long movie? Or is it to a point where they have to also learn how to be able to get in there and possibly do the same thing to their opponent? I would like to get an opinion for one of our guests and also from the co-producer as well, and see what they got to say about it.
Can I jump in first?
Go ahead.
Because I know
As long
why
as you respect
Nelson.
each other.
I know why Nelson brought this up. And
Shut up, Alex. I'm going. No, I'm good.
Here's my thing. There were a time in fighters where there was a sense of seesaw struggle. There was more like some excitement to okay, it's going down to the wire type thing. And nowadays, my biggest complaint is with Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom and the original Marvel versus Capcom 3. Initially, when the game first came out, I was like so excited for it. It looked great. Me and Nelson had played it at that year's Comic-Con when he was there with Raw Gameplay.
Yep.
And Nelson was teaching me how to play that game. And that build, Nelson, I remember, had the air dashing.
Yeah, it had
Yeah.
air dashing for almost every character.
Yeah, it felt more like Guilty Gear. You know how you could double jump forward dash and then start stringing your combos as you're air dashing?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that build was pretty cool. But my issue with the game came from where what were initially glitches in past versus games became standard. And you saw a lot of that in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. My biggest gripe is OTG combos that just don't stop. Nelson was talking about something to the effect where you start a combo, you got like a 7-frame opener to continue the combo, but as the combo goes along, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And those who get good enough or really master the timing become almost like like freaking deities and entities that can't be stopped, because once that momentum goes, like for instance, an example where Daigo one time had used Dante and freaking OCV'd. I think Dante was his last character. OCV'd 3-on-1, and it's like, okay, once you get that Dante, kick, boom, damn, kick, boom, just kept going and going and going. I have no problem with that. I have no issues. If somebody took the time to learn how to do it, it's fine. But that's kind of game breaking in the same respect, because that's why I like games like Guilty Gear and Killer Instinct, because yes, they can do these things, but you have tools to stop it. Now in Guilty Gear, you have 2 levels of burst, right? And similar to like parrying, rep focus, or alpha counters, you have to time it. Right. So if they're coming in, and like for instance with Chip, I used to do my air combos when I was playing Shinwar, and he started countering it. So I was like, okay, slow down the combo. I watched him burst, boom, and then go back into it. You know what I mean? And still, you know, it needed, you know, Ultimate Marvel needed that element in there. Now, when you had the air tag combos and stuff, you could break that, but then you can't break those crazy infinites. That same element should have been applied to that. Now, limited breaking, so to speak. And then I felt the game would have, in my honest opinion, would have been a whole lot better. But now we're in a different age where it's all about the flash and, oh, look at how long he can hold that combo. Despite when he starts it, and by the end of the round, you might as well just leave your controller. You know, and I know before, I'm not gonna go on too much of a rant. I'm gonna trying to summarize everything real quick. I can go into the training room, start learning the game, and trying to put all my effort in there, but the minute that, because it's just like boxing, somebody's gonna get hit no matter what, you know what I mean? But I can train, I can go into tutorial modes and all that, and then once they start a combo, hey, what the hell was I training for if I'm gonna keep getting hit with the infinite? Or, you know what I mean? So that's,
I mean, you do have a valid point, don't get me wrong, because like I said, there's no wrong answer.
That's why I broke the disc. That's why I broke the disc. And you know what? I had to say something. You know, the internet and you folks who like ranting and trolling and all that, I mean, how come I had 6,000 views on that damn video? They just wanted to see me melt down because Shinwar went through my level 3 with Strider's Ragnarok, and I eject and made that video. I'm like, come on, man. Folks are gravitated toward negativity. It's crazy.
Yeah, they love violence. That's just...
My problem with fighting games is that you no longer have to be good at fighting games. Like you don't have to get good on your own anymore. Like it's part of the fighting game's fault, but it's also the
culture,
the age of the internet. Because now you can, like, before you had to, like, okay, I have to go to the arcade and I have to play against a bunch of people and I have to get good and I have to learn the stuff. But now it's like, oh, I can go on YouTube and look at a Daigo video and see how he plays, and you don't develop your own style anymore. Your style is basically mimicking the best player's style. It's like learning how the best player plays and then mimicking that. So that's the reason why I don't play fighting games seriously anymore, because it's not about winning on your own steam anymore. It's about learning what someone else knows and learning how to do what they do.
Now, Dave, to give him more, to back him up on that, Mike and Corey, when we were at the E-Spot one time, it was one of the first 3 tournaments that we went to, Nelson. And I think Corey said something like, you get certain types of Balrogs, that Rog players, boxer.
Right. You
get a whole lot of folks that do the same thing, or you know what to expect. I get it's the same character, but you know with Balrog with that crazy jab, jab. A lot of folks, you get them abusing this stuff, and it's just like Demiso said.
I can honestly tell you, like, if I honestly put in the time and effort to play Street Fighter 4, like, for instance, like, I play Shinwar a lot in Street Fighter 4. Well, not recently, but we used to play a lot. And, like, his character is Balrog, and even though I knew exactly how he was going to beat me, I knew exactly what moves, when he was going to do it, and the timing of the moves, I just could never beat him because it's the same combo over and over and over. And
Yeah.
every balanced player has that combo, and it's like, okay, what's the point? Because all you have to do is memorize. Okay, instead of beating the player, you memorize this string of combos that is a shorter word, or you memorize
Bread and butter. Bread and butter.
But the funny thing about it is, I couldn't beat his Balrog, but online, I beat like a handful of Balrogs just by like patience, concentrating, knowing what's coming, and knowing when to focus.
No,
like,
but
and I'm like,
I can tell you, like, every Balrog that I've played doesn't play like Shinwar, but I can beat other Balrogs that don't play like Shinwar, but there are like a bunch of Balrogs out there that play exactly like Shinwar.
and I'm not knocking this game style. His main character is just like
No, it's mainly the character. Yeah,
it's just the character. So
And that's pretty much my main gripe with fighting games today, and that is that there's too many go-to things that will work regardless of who you play, and it's just you're not getting good on your own Steam. You're just getting good on what.
when they came, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
When they came to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I first started playing it. I first got to the hype of like X-Men vs. Street Fighter and everything else. When I started getting into it, it was like Dreamcast and the arcade. I started like noticing a few things and a few glitches, and I was like, I'm not going to exploit this until I realized I was like, okay, people were start doing combos. Until I saw Cable start doing infinite combos, I was like, oh Lord, here you go. I'm like,
as long as you had meter, you could do the Scimitar and then cancel it, and then keep jumping.
Fun for the person. See, when it comes to fighting games, I'm more, even if I know an infinite, I'm more of an honor person. I don't want to keep hitting you and keep seeing the same. I said, no, look, if it's an air combo, I'm going to try to get the max hits. Not going for an infinite. Try to get the max hits. Let's see if I can maximize my character. Not because I'm trying to kill him and not giving him a chance. I said, no, I'm not playing against him. I'm testing myself on my skills, what I learned. So, yeah, I learned infinite. So what? I'm not going to exploit it. But then again, if the other person does it on me, I'm like, well, damn, there's no honor among fighting games anymore.
But you know what, Takuma? Not everyone has the same fighting game etiquette. You know what I mean? Because nowadays you go online. That's why I hate ranked match. I hate it too. Because like there was a video that I did where this guy was using no pun intended. He put the thing at 30 seconds, got a couple of hits and ran away because he was so enamored by winning. That's all that mattered. Like, are you for real? Like, that's why I just go to Endless Lobby or I play with you guys and just call it a day.
And on that point, I'm playing online. I'm still playing Street Fighter, Ultra Street Fighter 4 online, and it was like Rolento. I can't have a problem with Rolento. I had to go research.
He's just hard to fight.
I had to go research it. I had to figure out, okay, what the pun is versus what not the pun. And I'm like, okay, usually do a show or gonna go for a throw. But if I'm blocking his roll,
he's elusive. He's elusive.
Like, I got it. So I beat a few. I'm still learning. Cause of course I'm gonna lose some points, but. Earlier today, I beat this one dude really bad, but he used Roulette, so I use Guy, so I beat really bad. But you know,
it's just in that case, it's just learning the matchup, and
you just gotta learn.
It is.
I learned some punishes, so I'm like, okay, I got you.
Yeah, it is just learning the matchup. Like I'm gonna get on all your points right now, so we can try to move this along. We're starting with the Mizzle's point. You are definitely 100% right. And I'm not saying like, oh, we're OG and all this other stuff. I'm gonna just leave that out. But with the time of what's been happening in the past few years, a lot of people do have the easy accessibility now to become the best with a lot of provided information from many different outlets and sources such as YouTube, such as like forum websites like SRK, Event Hubs, what's another one? One Frame Link. You have so many things out there to become one of the best players, and it's not like how it was in the past where, like what Demizzle was saying, like you go to an arcade and you would just have to sacrifice.
Yeah, we had to learn the hard way.
Yeah,
in the 90s,
I miss them days because them days made you tougher. Like that person you couldn't beat in the arcade. You went
Dave,
home.
Remember Willowbrook Mall? Remember Bloomfield Arcade?
Yeah.
Yeah, those who live in New Jersey, me and Demizzle, Shinwar used to frequent Bloomfield Arcade when it was open, Willowbrook Mall arcade when it was open, and at Willowbrook there were some straight up wars. There was that guy I remember in SVC Chaos. He had like a 16 fight win streak, and I almost beat him. I almost beat him. He was using
that game so much.
He was using Geese Howard. I'm like, oh, you want to use a boss
know, that's
character?
what
Yo,
it is.
I pushed this dude. I had 1 inch. 1 inch. I had to do it, and we had to go. We had to go. You know what I mean? I miss those days. Things have changed. The guy was using a boss character, doing that freaking. He would go for that Russian attack, and he would cancel. I'm like, whatever. But you lose that because you see, I had to learn to get good at that game by actually playing the game. Now, you know, we're just in a different age where you got folks where data is there at your fingertips. Like, you know, like with the library, you used to have to go to the place and look up the information, where now the digital age, it's at your fingertips. It's on your smartphone, your tablet. It's just there. So that's something we can't really, how can I say? Times have changed. Times have changed. It just sucks that, you know, we had to go through it in a little harder fashion.
It's part of the reason why I like Virtua Fighter and not too many other fighting games, because even if you have the information, it's a game that you're either good at or you're not. It's not a game that okay, I have the information so I can just wreck shop at it. It's like you literally have to put in the time to be good at Virtua Fighter.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I still play Virtua Fighter. And like even though I like Dead or Alive 4 and 5, it's not like Virtua Fighter. Like it's essentially the 3D version of 2D fighting games in the way that you can just get the information and immediately be good at it with a little bit of practice.
Dead or Alive, in contrast to Virtua Fighter, Sega even said that, or Tecmo even said that without Virtua Fighter, DOA would not exist. So it was a more friendlier, like you could just jump in and play. Easy to play, difficult to master. That's what DOA is. Virtua Fighter is just difficult to master. There was that one player, it took 7 years with the old dude, to completely, like, you know, master that character. You know, Tekken also is similar, where, you know, with the exception of King and that bullshit, like infinite, like bam 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 with the throw. But you know, Tekken is a difficult game to really, like, know the ins and out and frame data and all that, you know, and you got Soul Calibur that falls into that category too. But
got to fight over Tekken.
Yeah. You know,
you did mention that earlier, but back to on my point though, what the Mizzle was saying. A lot of these people, like especially the kids from the ages of 12 to probably like the beginning of 2021, you guys have all this knowledge and time to actually sit there and grind this shit out. You have the luxury of what we brought to you. All the information that we've collected over the years and written and thrown on GameFAQs and SRK and Event Hubs, that's thanks to all of us from the past, from like the early 90s. So you guys definitely should be grateful for that, for finding out this tech. But I just don't like how fighting games have came to such this stage of evolution where people have to play in a certain way, especially now we have the internet. Everything is online. You can find any player across the world through Xbox Live, you know, PlayStation Online, or even through Steam. And you're playing people that sometimes will respect you. You'll have an honest to good match. You'll get sore losers where if you almost beat them, they'll pull out their Ethernet cord, turn off their console, and you won't get the win for
switch.
Or as of what happened to Alex, they will set certain parameters where you won't be able to see until you start the match, and they will try to
No, that was my fault. That was my fault because I just went into a match. I just wanted to play.
Yeah, but the thing is like you went into a match expecting still to have regular match
conditions. Yeah,
settings.
But I just left it like that, and then I did the match and.
But some people do play like that to hurry up and get their quick ass win and then hop off offline. I mean, I don't know what's the big honor in sitting there and beating your opponent in one round of 30 seconds and then leaving right after. I mean, In the arcade, if I bust your ass, everyone saw it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And now, thank God for streaming, we're able to somewhat still get evidential proof that we still bust your ass or even lose. But I also just don't like the fact that how some people, not mentioning anyone in this group, but some people that they find a game that they want to get involved into, and some people get discouraged very quickly because it may be something dealing with Infinite, not being able to actually play the game, of how there's not like a combo breaking system or some type of mechanic to make it fair, such as what Killer Instinct has, Blaze Blue has, Unil, which is Under Night and Birth for people who don't know, Tekken, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and so forth. You have a lot of these games that have adopted like rage mode where you have like a second life to come back. You have things where you'll have like a breakout mechanic, but you only have a limited times of usage. You also have stuff like in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Ultimate, where you're able to pop this meter called X Factor, and your character becomes like either 100, 200, or 300% more stronger than normal, depending on certain requirements. And some people say it's fair of the game because, you know, each side of the opponent has the same equal tools to work with. But then some people's like, oh, if he catches me in this combo, all of my hard work and effort went to waste. And then I can easily say and argue, I was like, well, that's your fault for getting caught, and you need to learn how to evade and catch on to it. And then someone else's argument would be, but that's still not fair because it can just be to the point where the combo is unblockable or a certain setup cannot be read to the point where you can easily adjust to, and when by the time you realize like, oh shit, I got caught by this, your match is over.
Now, you know what? I'm going to publicly object to that. In terms of any, like, okay, fighting games, we know it's a fantasy type thing where, yeah, you know, you vicariously live through these characters and what have you, alright? But at the end of the day, there needs to be some sort of realism to effect where there's no fight that I've ever seen where somebody's getting hit, and even as they're getting hit, somebody hooks them, and then another opponent could always fight back. You know, that's just a life mechanic. Look at UFC. Dave, remember that dude who almost got blown up? It looked like he had the the chirping birds from Street Fighter 2, and somehow he fought back and still won, knocked the dude out.
The Czech Congo versus Pat Berry fight.
Yes. Now, here's my thing. If it was a fighting game, if it was Ultimate Marvel, on the sheer fact that he started that barrage because it's in the confines of, oh, he shouldn't have got hit, he doesn't deserve the right to fight back, I disagree. You know what I mean? Because in real life fighting, you can fight back. You can always defend yourself. So that's why I always objected to Marvel and how, you know, you start getting hit and it's just like, okay, drop the controller. There's nothing I can do to retaliate, you know. And that's why I've always favored games like Guilty Gear and Killer Instinct. And you know, Nelson and I have offline disagreements on this, and it's just, that's what turned me off. And the reason why I was mad with Ultimate Marvel, because I was decent at versus games. Demizzle and Shinwar will attest to that. I was very good at them, you know. And then we come into that, and then yeah, there was a change. It became, you know, from Marvel vs. Capcom 1 to Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the game became more streamlined for more people to play. You know, 6 buttons was too much for the casual player. So they went and made it 4 buttons and 1 button assist. Okay, Marvel Capcom 2. Then you go on to Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and they went to like what was that? I'm trying to remember, like a Dojin game where it's light, medium, hard.
The Tatsunoko vs. Capcom.
No, the Tatsunoko. Yeah, Tatsunoko. Actually, I don't care what anybody says. I'm gonna stand my ground with this. Tatsunoko vs. Capcom's mechanics were better than Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That was a more solid game by far. However, it's not without its flaws. But the way that game was set up, it should have been, okay, keep that same setup and just put 3-on-3? Why did they have to go and OTGs and all that where you get bounced off the ground and then you get your shit rocked and you can't fight back? Now me, I might sound like a nerd or whatever, but I'm not like, no one's just gonna kick my ass. I'm gonna fight back. I get hit in the face or whatever, but I'm swinging. You know what I mean? If I'm in a video game and then it's like, oh, you get hit, you can't move. Oh, freeze your it. No, you can't move. No.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And I know Takuma laughed because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Little kid games like, oh no, you cheated. You can't do this. You can't. No. I just completely disagree with getting beat up and not being able to fight back. That's the wrong answer.
Well, another thing that I've really not liked about fighting games as of recent is that they've become very combo oriented. Like, okay, before, like, say Marvel vs. Capcom 1, Street Fighter, even the original Street Fighter 3s, what else? Like, you could just do a simple 3 or 4, 5, 6 hit combo and you do significant damage, but now you got to do like 15, 20, 25 hits to even do like 35% damage, and it's like, really? And it's like, okay, I get it, you want us to hit the buttons, and it's just like,
it's particular games. It's not across the board.
Dude, it's a lot of games. It's the Mortal Kombat 10s, it's the Mortal Kombat 9s, it's Injustice, it's Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it's Tekken 6.
Not Tekken, no. Tekken I can honestly disagree because there's a character in the game that you can just hit like 2 normals and you do the same amount of damage as a combo.
Well, but that's not indicative of the entire game. The rest of the game, you're just hitting buttons like, and you're doing this bit of damage, and it's just...
That was a problem with 3D fighters.
They want you to be fully inverse with the game. They want you to actually partake and actually utilize every button on that fucking controller to make it, you know...
But that's the problem. It feels like it goes back to the point of, like, one player is playing the game and the other player ends up just watching the game because
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there.
That only deals with, again, certain games such as what Alex brought up, the whole Marvel vs. Capcom series. Yeah, no, I understand. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm a former Marvel player myself. I recently retired myself from the game because it got to the point where
I shot my damn game.
I got
I turned into Thor for a minute.
I got mentally frustrated with the fact that in order for me to become good at the Marvel game, I have to quit playing Street Fighter, Blaze Blue, and my other side games and put 100% dedication to this game in order for me to be like, alright, I'm gonna fuck this dude up now.
But Nelson, what about Wong? Wong has been able to do this. He's achieved, like, he can get good at every game.
See, the thing is with Justin Wong, and I'm gonna state this off like on the record right now, he makes it his business and his #1 priority to be good at every fucking fighting game to make money. This is his job.
That's his job, yeah.
This is his job. See, if it was my job to get paid to bust people's asses in video games, I would do so, but I'm not. I'm a casual player. I have a limited access of how long I can stay up before I have to go out and be like, oh, I'm a grown-ass man. I got bills to pay. I gotta go to Manhattan. I gotta do this and do that and the third. Justin could stay home all fucking day. Like right now, Justin has almost over 8,000 people watching him play Mortal Kombat 10. And he's getting paid to fucking do that.
Yeah, that's business. I can't hate on that. That's business.
So,
I can't.
Nelson, back to the original point. Like, look at Marvel vs. Capcom 1 versus Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as the prime example. In Marvel vs. Capcom 1, you do like a 6, 7, 8 hit combo. You're not pressing like all the buttons on the controller, but you're still doing like a moderate amount of damage. You're doing like a 25 to 30% combo. Like, fast forward to say Injustice. That same six, seven, 8 hit combo will barely get you like 7% damage, and then you end up having to do like these elongated combos that take up like 4 and 5 and 6 seconds, and you just end up one player ends up playing the game and the other player ends up watching the game until the combo is essentially over, and it's just
And that's what I was saying, the loss of the seesaw battle,
Well,
the excitement of actually being in there and, and competing and having a fighting chance to the very end. That's what Marvel vs. Capcom 3 lost,
Right.
you know, with their system.
Right.
you know.
Spawner 6, you're a very funny dude. That's all I gotta say. But
What'd he say?
he said, "Okay, guys, I'm black and ready to mingle."
What the heck
I
is
don't,
this?
I don't know. Whatever.
Unbelievable.
Anywho, he said, "Whoops, wrong website." What a dummy.
Wow.
yo.
Freaking black people
But
meet.
It's the new gaming order, not the new booty order.
But
Unbelievable.
to recap on what you just said though, Dave.
But wait a sec, yo, my man on the Twitch channel, Shinsakumer, that's your homie right there.
Oh, you know what? No comment.
All right, but to cap on what you're saying though,
And if you in Cali, even better, yo. He's waiting for you on Wash. He's waiting for you, yo.
Don't swing that way, homie.
okay, this is
Wilshire
gaming.
Boulevard.
We're not talking about butthole pleasures. All right, this is gaming. All right, but back to what you were saying though. Yeah, there are certain games that do inquire for you to do more button presses to actually get more of an elaborate combo for more higher damage, such as an example, Killer Instinct. You have to input a lot more buttons than normal to dish out your maximum potential damage. But again, as I will say, not every game allows the one person to have a one-sided battle. In Justice, you do have a break mechanic. You are limited to how many you can do based on how much media you have. In Killer Instinct, you're freely across the board to break at any time as long as you know which rock, paper, scissors counter it is.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing
But
with
the
Guilty
option is
Gear.
there. The option is there. That's great.
Same thing with Guilty Gear, but you only could do it twice. And same thing in Blaze Blue, which is, an adoption of Guilty Gear. You can do it twice as well. But the way how the Capcom Versus series had evolved over time, as what Alex was mentioning, is built off of just flashy effects and to make it go pretty and make people go, oh shit, look what he's doing, oh my god. It's a hype game. It's no longer to me considered a fighting game. It's a hype game. It's basically who can bring the most hype to the table.
I like that, Nelson.
Curly mustache.
So that, to me, that's what the Versus series has always been to me since X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 3, CVS 1 and 2, SNK vs. Capcom SVC Chaos. All these Versus series is based off of hype. The more combo, the more impressive damage, the more infinites, the more stamina that you can do to keep that combo going with 2 button presses with Gambit in the corner where you're hitting light punch and light kick while holding forward, back and forth. People feed off of that shit. They feed off of it.
So it's not really a fighting game, but more an entertainment game.
That's how I see it. I mean, yes, it's still considered a fighting game or an anime fighter, however you want to put it in that genre. But the way how you attract 50, 60, even 110,000 people watching on Twitch during Evo to watch you do the most craziest shit in the world is to bring them the hype.
Oh wow, this looks beautiful.
You know,
I want to make an announcement. MKX is officially out. I got the premium stuff with all the DLC. I'm looking at it right now. And shout out to Black Dragon. I had invited him to be on the podcast, but he's actually out at the midnight release. So MKX is in full effect.
I want to give a special shout out to Dark Prince. We know you watching, bruh.
Oh God.
We want your money. Come on back to the fighting game community, man.
Dark Prince is gone.
I'll get the regular copy. I'll get the DLCs later.
Yo, alright, wait, let me revise that then. Filipino champ, go grab your boy from wherever he's hiding, put him back on the sticks, pimp him out, we want his money.
And that's another thing. Filipino champ, I saw a video with him. He beat the hell out of somebody and he was disrespecting the dude.
Right.
Like, here's my thing. Like, this is just my little thing, dude. It's just a game, and
True.
me, 225 pounds. I would say I'm in decent shape. You talk to me like that, I'm gonna fuck you up. I will put my fist through your fucking head. Don't you? Over a fucking game? The way he disrespected that dude, I'm like, yo, you can't play the game. Yo, dude, right here, bro. I would took his ass out. Like, come on, it's just a game.
Wait, all right,
That's another thing with fighters. People get too salty over them. Like, hey, it is what it is, you know.
I got stories.
One more thing.
Stories.
Filipino champ, we see Dark Prince lurking in the back of your streams, just chilling in the cut. Put that man on the sticks, man. We want to take his money.
But to what Alex is saying, those are tournament players that feed off of fear and ego towards others. It's to make themselves look like they're more of that dominant person. To me, in my opinion,
they're badasses because they could kick somebody's ass in a game.
Right.
Right.
But
badasses.
what I'm trying to say is like, why go to that far of an extent? Even to the point, remember that video that we saw not long ago with Low Tier God and Viscount? Like, that shit got out of hand. I mean, mind you, it's
remember what he said?
beef.
You want to watch this taste of my... my goodness.
but mind you, it's video game beef, and it's come to the point where I'm pretty sure Takuma is about to tell one of his Tekken stories.
Oh, man.
Video games come into an effect where it actually affects the real life world, and it puts you in almost dangerous situations. Because I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I was in an arcade, I will not mention where, but it was somewhere in Brooklyn, and the game that was being played, ironically, was Killer Instinct 1, the original. And me and my cousin went to this arcade, and he told me about this kid that was really good. His name was Liam, and he was busting everybody's ass and whatnot. And I came on to the game, and I was playing my very first time. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And my cousin told me, yo, pick that big titty girl, Orchid. And I was playing with her, and then he was like, yo, do this, and that to do her ultra at the end. And of course, you know, that was considered like old school backseat gaming, you know.
Yeah.
And
we had somebody at one of our tournaments doing that. That's just annoying, bro.
Right. But the thing is, I was little. I was like, oh my God, I was not even 7 when that happened. And my cousin was like, oh man, don't worry about it, it's just a game. And the next thing you know, the kids get enticed, like, yo, what the fuck? What the fuck did you help him, son? I'm gonna fuck you in your
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm not gonna name drop, but that happened at the Microsoft store. I think that was the last tournament me and Shinwar did with Rod Lane, and we had somebody pulling that, and yo, it was so bad that the player was winning and he was busting behind, and they were talking trash to a point where the player didn't want to even stick around. Like he felt like it turned too hostile. You know, that wasn't cool. You know what I mean? Like, they need to just at ease it, chill. It's just a game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I mean, why go to the furthest extent? I've seen videos, especially in Chinatown Fair, when people got stabbed over Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like, why take it that far? But let me stop. I'm pretty sure Takuma has something to say of a crazy story.
Oh, before Takuma goes, those of you who want to check out my MKX stream, I have it up on the NGO_X1.
Which I will actually embed into our podcast as we talk, so continue.
Alright, so,
Man, let me
Alright, go ahead.
about the freaking video game fights I had. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. Our biggest malls were Ford City, and at that time it was Ford City. It was a place in River Oaks and another place called Chicago Ridge. The biggest games I had fights in was Tekken 3. Believe it or not, Fatal Fury 2 and Fatal Fury Special, and Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. The Tekken fight I got into because when Part 3 came out, I fell in love with 2 characters, Jin and Horong. When I started learning Horong, I picked up, there was a way you could do like an infinite combo with like left kick, right kick, jab, then keep doing it again. There was this guy who had like about 26 wins, and I was like, all right, let me see what I can take what I learned from home. So that first round, I got mangled. The second round, I started winning. The third round was decisive. Now here's what happened. When I beat that third round, it was like everybody had their quarters up. When I beat that third round, I left. I walked away from the game. I was like, I'm good. They was like, yo, he took your wins and left, man. I was like, he was like, no. So I'm gonna go play another game. This one dude came up and said, hey, that man want a rematch. I'm like, what? Hey, that man want a rematch. I give you the course. You want a rematch? You want a rematch? I was like, okay, fuck it. So I picked up Jen. So when I picked up Jen, and when I say I R. Kelly his ass, I R. Kelly him, dude. This dude.
What do you mean by R. Kelly?
Well, perfect. Another one perfect on him.
No.
In the second round, another perfect on him. He was like, that's fucking bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. I'm like, dude, calm down. This dude swung on me. I swear to me and my brother whooped his ass. That's just Tekken, because Tekken 3 was like, it was okay, but there were certain combos that you would get manhandled, especially when people start learning King. If you got grabbed, game over. When I learned King,
I hated that.
He was too down, like, fuck, game over. You got grabbed, game over. The other game was, my favorite game was, it's still my favorite game to this day, was Fatal Fury 2 and Special. I love Ken Kwan. Love him to death. When I figured out they had ditch moves, as in like what we call ultra moves and super moves, yo, I was unstoppable. I was playing this one, I don't know if he was Asian or something like that. I played one Asian kid. I lost this fight because it was like a money match. It was like first to 5 or whatever wins like, it's like talking about $40. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. So when I beat him, I got his money, but I got snubbed. I lost that fight. I was like, okay, all right, cool, no. I still got the money, I lost that fight. The other game, which incorporated a lot of skills and a lot of thinking to me, was Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo when they first introduced super moves. And the best location I got to fight was here in California, Montclair Mall. When that game came out, trust me, I believe, when you play against, no offense to anybody, when you play against Mexicans or Latinos from their community, when you beat them really bad, trust me, you need to run. And this is the arcade. I wish it was there to this day. Trust me, when I was using Ken at the time, and then I found how to use Akuma, how to get him, unlock him, and use him. Trust me when I tell you, there were so many people I ran from that fucking arcade. I said, I'm not going back there. I'm going somewhere else. But today, it's like, if you're getting bodied and people was getting stabbed and shot and you get jumped on, that made me kind of like stop putting down fighting games, stop playing more other games. Because
basically that's turning into fighting game etiquette. Like, I just want to let folks know, like Nelson was saying, this is a different format. It's fighting game evolution from, how they changed from back then till today. And, just also talking about like how people behave in the fighting game community. You know what I mean? It's a game. It's a game.
Like if I'm getting beat, okay, if I know I'm about to lose, I'm getting beat, I'm like, okay, and it's almost a process. Okay, now I'm about to lose. I know I'm about to lose this first round, but you ain't about to perfect me. So I'm gonna try to get at least 1 or 2 hits before you perfect. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm like, all right, I may have got beat, but he ain't get no perfect on me. That was like at least enough pride for me to walk away and be like, all right, I lost, but hey, he perfect the other dude. Like, hey, because there been sometimes I got perfect, and then sometimes I perfect people. So.
Okay, just to stop you real quick, we're actually gonna add Danae onto the call, so we're gonna get a guest on the show as of right now. So get
I'm gonna bust Danae's chops when he get in here.
Keep talking.
The fuck?
Keep talking. You said you was doing something. Keep going.
The fuck is that Lionel?
This dude, son.
Yo, this MKX is nice, bro. It feels real smooth.
All these damn moves. Yeah, what's that?
It's faster. It's a lot faster. I'm testing Sub-Zero against Kodokan right now.
Oh, yeah, I gotta go pick my copy up.
And I said, screw it. I got the digital one because I don't want to wait.
Yeah, I know. I want the hard copy. I don't know why.
Is it out on the PC, or is it coming out on the PC?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, I'll get it for PC also.
I'm trying to add Danae onto the call, but I think he's trying to sign in as we speak right now, so.
Oh, okay. So, right bumpers interaction. But here's my thing. Without switching too far from what the main topic is about the, how fighting games has changed from yesteryear till now, Yeah, I think fighting games also got more complex. You know, like who remembers playing Fighting Street? You know what I mean, or the original Street Fighter? You know,
Remember that?
it was very difficult to pull off moves. Remember the original Fatal Fury arcade game? That
Yeah.
that was rather interesting.
It was interesting.
Yeah, you know, but as games, the years have progressed, the games got smoother, quicker, you know, more realistic. But it's just, you know, some of the mechanics in some games are less to be desired than most. But I think Nelson and I, for the first time, agreed to disagree, but we actually have a common ground because we will fight offline about this, like, oh man, this is BS, da da da, you know. But Nelson, I appreciate that we actually got our points out without, like, you know.
Yeah, arguing and
Yeah.
senseless shit. Yeah, I know. It's like I said, like before, I was saying it because I felt like coming from how I grew up with fighting games and stuff like that, you know, I wanted to express my point across. But if we're trying to express this to our viewing audience, we need to explain it in such a way where it doesn't cause conflict and making it as a, you know, an internal issue.
Yeah, of course, of course. No, but it was never personal. It's just that,
No.
you know, if you think about it, like in terms of like the whole Marvel versus Capcom thing, the Miz backed me up. He's like one person, and essentially, it can go either way. You know, you get hit, you're watching the rest of the match.
All right, I think, Danae, are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, there you go.
Go with
Black
it, man.
Thunder, welcome. You know, let's welcome Tough Nerd Toys LLC, Danae. You know, some intro before we bring you in, because I wanted you in on this topic big time, because I know you're gonna have a lot to say. We're gonna give you a little bit of time to get caught up with everything else, so hopefully you were checking out the earlier parts of it. But Nelson will kind of steer you into what we were talking about, so go ahead.
So basically what we're talking about, Danae, is how fighting games change over the course of the years, basically starting out from how classic Street Fighter 2, everyone was on equal fighting grounds. You pick a character, you spend your time in the arcade, learn your character, and gain respect from players. Then there's other things where you will play a versus series, and then people will bitch and complain about, oh, you got caught in the infinite, now I can't do shit, what the fuck am I playing?
Or
And-
TGs and
Please
shit.
don't get me started on this. Do not get me started.
Hey, this is what we're here to talk about. So you can freely express however you want about this topic. So any time you want to chime in, go ahead.
For one, I want to thank you guys for having me on the wonderful show, as usual.
I didn't want you here. You could go back home, bro.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
but as far as fighting games go, I mean, they've totally, like, swayed away from the rock, paper, scissors element that it used to be. I mean, like, there's no longer... I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. There were, like, back in the old, like, fighting game era, say, like, with the SNK fighters, which, of course, I think perfected this 2D fighting engine. There was even with a weak character, it was always a rock paper scissors effect, where though like this could be that, but you just had to be fast enough to react to this. You had to outthink your opponent. We're like now, I mean, once I started playing Marvel for a while, I learned like three infinites, and then I just grabbed like two characters that could smother the hell out of it. It's all about smothering. That's what it is. It's just all about smothering. There's no skill involved. I will never forget that one time. There were times when me and Alex Lexus used to play and play Street Fighter Third Strike back when did that shit come out? Like in what?
90? Yeah, it was 96 through.
There were times because we had to gauge where each fighter was going to come at. You couldn't just run in with combos and just flood the person with combos, because there was a high possibility Alex would parry me. There's a high possibility I would parry him, so on and so forth. So you had to outthink your opponent. Whereas like now, you just run in with your infinite combo and you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you win. When I learned that was the formula for new games, but you have to understand, they also did that to cater to this new gamer. Because the new fighting games,
ADD society, they won't commit the time.
Your character, they don't want to learn the 360 moves or that quarter circle moves and so on and so forth. You know, yeah, they talk about spacing and all that other stuff. Like in this new Mortal Kombat, they talk about spacing, but essentially, just like all the new fighting games, it's a smother game. As soon as against two equally skilled players, when playing a game such as Marvel and Mortal Kombat, it depends on who gets the first hit. Who gets the first hit?
Yes, there you go.
Who gets the first hit?
Because I figured something out earlier with Cassie Cage. I was like, oh shit.
I can, and don't get me wrong, I love Mortal Kombat, but I didn't want to give it a full review until I started playing it online. And already I played it online for one. I don't know if it was my connection or whatever, but it was very, very laggy. It felt like I was fighting underwater.
Now, which version was it? Was it because they're saying that the PlayStation 4 online is a little bit better right now?
Yeah, the Xbox version is horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Ed Boon and NetherRealm Studios may have to get in there and patch.
Right, but
how do I do Scorpion Spear?
Before we continue, Alex, there's someone in the chat called, I think, Race Akira.
Yes, so that's my Mugen friend.
All right, so he's in the chat.
Race, thank you, man.
Alright, so basically what you were saying, Danae, yeah, games have evolved to the point where people like to, just do infinite combos to set in for like the casual kind of player. But as I was telling Alex, these new Versus series kind of games is built as of building hype. It's no longer considered as of playing a fighting game. It's basically how much hype and how much attraction you can give to bring all these people and be like, oh shit, this motherfucker did a 200 hit combo. Like,
yeah, which is completely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see a lengthy, substantial combo, but I mean, come on, we adding up to 200 hits, or like there's been like what made me stop playing Mortal Kombat 9 was that the game was so broken to where this person whooped my ass from one end of the screen to the other end of the screen and back.
Just doing
the blue chain is doing a 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. I was like, are you kidding me? Then when I broke it, it did nothing but put him back in the reset position to start it up all over again.
Yeah,
and I can definitely see it with this game coming already. I see it coming because
the one thing I will say, the game is pretty.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. But I mean,
it's the smoothest looking Mortal Kombat I've ever seen. Like what I'm looking at right now.
It's a good play, but once you start getting caught up in the nonsense, you're gonna really be like. And see, what gets me is that, just like with Marvel, they put out a half-assed product, and then once we're like the classic fighting fans or like the cult following fighting fan gamers. They put out this product and then expect us to just swallow it and accept it. You know what I mean?
Like Capcom and Cross Tekken.
Oh my god, that was horrible.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about that because I was trying to tell people, but they didn't want to listen.
Dave, I think you cursed Cross Tekken, man.
I was telling them as well. I was like, this is horrible. Because see, you have to understand, we're a dying breed. We are a dying breed. You understand?
Getting older, It's not. The games aren't like in the '90s where you took the time and grinded and got better. You got Game Facts. You have All Is Fighter. You have Fighting Generation. Who they made me an admin there. Shout out to them. Check them out on Facebook. They have good information.
Give me a link and I'll definitely check them out.
They're a good group over there, and like. Everybody wants things quick. It's like, somebody who has unrealistic expectation of losing weight. I want to lose 90 pounds in like 2 months. Like, dude, it's a process.
But you have to understand, they have to make these games to cater to this new society.
It's a business. Like, at the end of the day,
you have to make it easy. They have to make people. This new generation wants to win. They want to win. They don't believe in putting the effort in and pretty much studying the character or studying anything. They just want to win because that's the way
asshole.
We were talking about that like in Street Fighter rank match. Like you got folks like they'll set the settings all one way, just so they can win. And we just lost the whole fighting game etiquette where it's just like it was about the culture of the gaming. But we're in the tournament era. We're in the social media era, online era, so the mentality has changed. We stayed the same, but the way folks digest and interact in the fighting game, community, so to speak, not in the mainstream tournament scene, but more or less like, hey, just enjoying it. It has changed. They made games easier to play, flashier, at the cost of that whole grassroots, where where the foundations came from.
I mean, at the cost of being, using strategy and tactics. Out like it was like I said, Alex. I mean, there were many times me and you play Street Fighter Third Strike. We played.
Yeah, your Makoto was annoying, man. I was like, oh my god.
We would have to outthink each other. It wasn't just rushing in. I mean, like, no. Yeah, you had aggressive players and you had defensive players. I mean, like, that's what made the fighting game, the fighting game genre so much fun. It was like playing chess with so-called quote unquote fighting characters. You know what I mean?
That's in essence what Street Fighter is.
But
it's in Abel's win quote.
But even like Street Fighter has gone the way of like catering to this new gamer, because like it's not a factor of reaction time. Like, it's now about priority when it comes to Street Fighter. Because there's many a times like when I used to play like the old Street Fighter Alpha series, if Blanca did a roll and it was coming directly at me, if I timed it right, I could Shoryuken him out of it, blade kick him out of it. Where like sometimes, I mean, like they just go by, look, might makes right. And that's how it works with like
Ryu
fighting games.
Ooh, excuse me, y'all.
Oh, and Fierce just joined my Xbox Live party, but I'm actually here doing this show. But it's all
It
good.
happens.
This one asshole on All Street Fighter named Flojo7 who beat me with Ken. I came back and bited his ass because he had no damn skills. Pierce got to take some points and run. Sorry.
Tag, yo.
But you know what? Let me ask Danae this.
Yeah.
Danae, from like you mentioned King of Fighters.
Right.
Me and Noop were playing King of Fighters, and even with like a Neo Max or a Super Move, a jab can still stop it. You know what I mean?
That's why I love King of Fighters 13.
Now, no matter what, if in real life combat, I could be coming in with one of my strongest punches, but a combatant, my opponent, always has a puncher stand.
Individual, if you had timed your opponent correctly, it was about reading your opponent. The old fighting games were about reading your opponent.
Damn, Danae, you clapping? You about to get ready for a fight or something?
Yeah, no, because I try to explain this to this generation of gamer. Because there's times when the fight will get intense, and I'll just start using strategy. They was like, "How come you ain't? How you just beat him with just jump kicks and this, that, and the other?" I said, "Because I come from a time when you had to read your opponent. You could do all these flashy combos, but if I back up a little bit, if I see you an ultra aggressive play, I back up a little bit, do what I have to do, boom." But it's different now. It's completely different. The fighting game community, the whole fighting game scene is completely different. It's completely different. And I'm willing to adapt to it, but
Hang on, I got to channel my inner Danae. You do not want to show you can meet.
Damn cow players and shit. You play their ass close and start throwing that
but
shit.
Those think about it, Alex. Think about it. Those King of Fighter games. Think about it. There were times people would run in with Kyo Kusanagi with his Ultra or whatever. What were they called? Supers back then or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you timed it right, you could foot sweep him right out of it. Or if you timed it right, you could. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't like that at first, but then I learned to appreciate it when I started playing games like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I don't want people to think that I'm a Grinch or a hater on Marvel vs. Capcom 3 by any means. It's just that there's some flaws in it.
Oh, that game is completely flawed.
Yeah, where they could have taken some elements from King of Fighters, from Guilty Gear, from Killer Instinct to make it more where, hey, you know what? You're not people aren't completely victimized, because in real life, and I know when we put this on YouTube, folks are gonna be like, hey, you're just complaining about the game, and like we and Nelson were discussing, we have a difference of opinion on it. It's a good game. I have it on the Vita. I have it on my 360. Still, somebody helped me reacquire the game. Okay, I was mad when I broke the disc and everything. I got it, but it's just to a point where I don't want to feel helpless when I'm playing a game.
Oh yeah, when they catch you up in an infinite combo and all, it's like you're watching Saturday cartoons. You just sit there and watch all the action.
Exactly.
And toss them on the screen.
Really?
That's all you can do. That's all you can do. You know what I'm saying? They were like, "Oh, well, you can." No, you can't. No, you can't.
But
now, you know what? How about this? Like in this, okay, we were talking about fighting game etiquette, and before that, we were talking about the evolution of fighters and where they kind of, were and where they are now. What about where they're going? You know, where should we be seeing fighters? I mean, because you got folks saying where they kind of run out of ideas, but you had NetherRealm Studios come out with the story mode for MKX, then Injustice and whatnot. Should now the games focus more on story, or like what's left to do with fighters besides making them more pretty?
It really doesn't. It really doesn't take much to come up with an engaging story because you can do that at any point.
Anything.
What can happen, Mizzle, to make the experience better? More balanced. Like, what are your thoughts?
I would honestly say we need to regress.
Regress?
I got for you.
Like,
come on now.
like,
Shout out to Mike Moy, a cast member from Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. That's Shin Takuma, redheaded stepchild show.
But we need to regress to a time where fighting games were on skill. Like, even if the information is out there, like, make them more engaging where you're not having to press all the buttons on the controller to do damage on a game. It's like, okay, let me do a 6, 7, 8 hit combo and feel like I accomplished something rather than feel like, okay, that's it. You're only doing 8% damage with this 8 hit combo that let's go back to the time where like you legitimately had to be good at a fighting game instead of having to, okay, let's just memorize the bread and butter.
So you want to take it back to, like, let's say a game like Real Bout Fighting, some era like that where you do like an 8-hit combo with Mai and fucking do almost 90% of their health.
Street Fighter 2 was like that. World Warrior. Oh my god.
I'm not saying.
Sometimes you get hit him with 3 fierce and the line will just start going all the way down. Like,
I think 3 or 4 fierces in a row would get you into stun.
No, you know what game that reminds me of just now since you're talking about the fierces? Remember that character in Samurai Showdown, Alex, called Tam Tam, the dude with the mask with that big ass staff?
Yeah.
If you do 3 jumping fierce, that's your entire health bar gone.
But let me say this in defense of that. How bad do you have to be caught with 4 fierces in a row?
But the thing
that is true. That is true.
Even with Chip,
I used to actually do like this so-called bread and butter combo on Street Fighter 2 with Ryu. It was a jumping roundhouse, low forward, and a Hadouken, or either you can switch it up and do like a double Shoryuken. And it would just you would just see like the person's line just go all the way down.
No, but what I'm saying is like, say like Marvel vs. Capcom 1, you do like a good 6, 7, 8 hit combo, or Marvel superheroes or X-Men versus Street Fighter, you can do like 7, 8, 9 hits and feel like you've accomplished something. Like you may not be like the best ever, but you still do a decent amount of damage, like 25, 35% damage, whereas okay, if you do the 10, 11, 12 hit, you may get 45 to 50. But you don't need to make the combos like so lengthy and so stringy that let's go away from the hype and get back to the basic mechanics of what fighting games were is what I'm saying. That's where we need to go.
Okay. Danae, what do you think can happen to improve or make better the experience of fighting games going forward?
I'm really, to be honest, I really think fighting games, as much as I love fighting games, it's a dying genre, and it's a dying genre. It's not. I don't see it really going too much further. I really don't, because as much as I love, like, I'm gonna be very honest with you, as much as I love Street Fighter, I feel as though I'm not really excited for that Street Fighter 5. For some reason, for some apparent reason, I'm not.
I'm not excited for Street Fighter 5 either. I've flat out said that I have no intention of getting any incarnation of.
I've seen it's a guy I'll sometimes watch on besides yourself, but there's a guy I sometimes watch on YouTube called Maximilian, right?
Oh, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, even he does. He's not really even excited for it, and like, I'm a diehard Street Fighter fan. You know what I'm saying?
Too.
Go ahead.
I got my reasons why I'm a little mad about that, but that's another story. Oh man, Raiden feels mad different. Okay.
Yeah,
man, I don't
wait
know.
till you start playing online. I don't know. Maybe it was me, but wait till you start playing online. You'll see what I'm talking about. Maybe they patched it or something, but It's very sluggish. It's like you're fighting underwater.
All right, I'll take a look.
I mean, but it was something that you also mentioned within one of your messages on Facebook, Danae. It could just be the fact that since, like, you know, possibly over the course of time you're getting older and you're just like, whatever with games. It's not a mint of how it was back then.
But I mean, you know, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. It could be that, but at the same token, I mean, there's a lot of indie games that I'll come across that I actually really enjoy.
Indie games and homebrew games, bro.
Exactly, that I really enjoyed. I mean, like, there's even like games arcade style games that I play on my phone that I really enjoy. But I mean, it's just
shout out to Punch Quest.
Yes, indeed. Tell him, Aaron. Tell him, bro. But yeah, it's just that I really think we're beginning to go through the same situation that we went through when I was a child in like the 80s, when like they were bringing out so much redundant, mundane, humdrum, autonomous stuff to where like the gaming market had just flopped for like a couple of years, and then it came back up when Nintendo came back out.
See, Nintendo
came out rather.
You know what I think? Honestly, another thing is, well, I made a video on this, but I think the video game industry is headed for a crash, and I think it should crash because then it would just shake off all this excess. And
this repetition too. I can't take it.
I honestly think the video game controller, as it stands right now, is the biggest obstacle in moving games forward because it's the tried and true, it's the standard, and people have grown so comfortable with it that when anything is even attempted to be brought out on the market that's different, like the Kinect or the PlayStation Move or the Wii, it's like instantly panned because it's like, okay, why are you doing this? We have the controller here. The controller is perfect. There's no need to improve on the controller.
Some folks don't like change, and you know what? I'm one of them because I just wish that, like, for instance, going back to Marvel 3, it's like, okay, why did they change something that was already working? You know, and some folks like, okay, with the Kinect thing, I think Angry Joe and Review Tech went in a little too hard because gaming, hey, look, this right here, that's what we've been confined to since the 80s, okay? And now, you know, like with fighting games, they need to have something where, hey, you know what, let's say you talk to the game and do whatever. Killer Instinct was supposed to have some features with that. I guess because they're pulling Kinect support, you don't even get that, you know? So it's just, lack of change is going to be its downfall, you know? So that I don't know.
I mean, it's only to confine to certain people, though, Alex. It's like not everything is gonna suit every gamer out there. Like, you will have your casual gamers that might like the Kinect or the stuff like they have on the tablet where you barely use any buttons. You just use your fingers as the controller itself to get where you need to go. Some people might like the idea when me, you, and On Your Knees had that VR conversation. There will be people into certain particular markets that will cater to these gamers. Not everyone is going to conform to, you know, as you mentioned before, you know, the PlayStation controller or the 360 controller or an arcade stick. There will be people out there that wants to see new, fresh ideas. In my opinion, I would love to see another Time Crisis game come out for next gen. But we might not ever see that due to certain recent things that's happening
kids
with
guns
and such like that.
I want to see another Tenchu game come out.
There is one, but I will tell you off air. I will tell you there is one coming out though.
Oh, thank God.
All right, so Nelson, I mean, do you want to bring it to an end, or?
I mean, if anyone else, as of right now, has anything else to say on this topic, as anything, whether if you.
What about the chat? Anybody on the chat had something?
If your friend from the Mugen community or anyone else in the chat that's watching that would like to bring up a topic or ask a question to us to discuss, please feel free. Like I said, it's an open discussion.
Yeah, open forum. You know, and this was like an impromptu thing. Nelson had called me and said, "Hey, let's do this thing."
Yeah, because I mean, I think of it
and
as
I
it's a good
apologize for
topic.
not looking at the camera because I'm actually playing MKX.
Well, they can see that on the podcast. Like, they see your stream
guys.
embedded.
I'm gonna go ahead and take off because I'm gonna go pick up my MX copy before the store closes. So I'm gonna see y'all guys on the
You know,
see y'all guys in the ring.
that's not where he's going. He's going to meet up with that user, yo, that was in the stream, yo.
Oh
Oh, what the heck?
See, you know what? You know what, David? On my word, dog. If I was there right now,
my word.
Why he doing
Yes,
the neck clap?
He's doing the clap. He's doing the
bro.
clap.
Yo, you know, Mr. Kuma, all my word, all my baby mama, everything that you
Yo, today, look what you started, man.
What's on, homie? See, meet me out in the street, homie. Meet me out in the street.
Oh, my
Go get
God.
your fucking game, yo. God.
Get out of here. I'll see y'all niggas later.
Hey, Nelson,
Peace out. We'll
are
see
you
you
getting
when
this
you
Mortal
get back.
Kombat, Nelson?
What happened?
You getting this Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, I got it. I actually have it right now.
Yeah.
We'll probably do like a lobby thing sometime, like tomorrow, maybe.
I have the game, but I'm also getting it for the other console as well, so I can do like a comparison thing, and also viewers night. One night would be on the one night would be on the PS4. You know.
Yeah, let me know when you're on the PS4 too, because I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it for the PS4.
Well, I'm getting it tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Well,
it
not
should
today.
be downloaded.
Today.
It should be downloaded to my PS4 right now. So.
Okay. Ray Sakura says, how do you think fighting games would be if certain companies worked together or had their hands on certain games?
Can you be more specific? Like, you mean like Sega or Arc Systems or
Yeah, if you
Bandai
can
Namco?
kind of rephrase your question, Ray Sakura, that would be very helpful.
I
so
think
people get a
I
better
get where he's coming
understanding.
from. That sounds like, you know, a Mugen question. Like, you know, we have characters from different franchises fighting each other and all that other stuff.
Well, I
And-
mean, do you remember that topic that Harada said that he's working on a secret versus game where he's trying to get like more than 5 companies to conjunction together?
But here's the thing, like, you know, let's say that's the future of fighters, where actually multiple partnerships were to occur, you know, unlike what was going on with SNK Playmore, asking, I think the negotiations broke down with Capcom, because the terms that SNK Playmore were asking for were not to Capcom's liking, so there's no CVS 3. That's why that didn't happen, just so y'all know. But, yeah, I mean, if multiple companies did work together, race, I think that'd be a good thing. And just like to see more dream matches, because we don't really see that anymore. And Cross Tekken like kind of messed up the versus and crossover thing because it was handled so poorly. You know, I kind of afraid we might not see that for a while, but I think that would be a good thing to revisit.
See, I'm gonna go in the kind of stay in the middle, because we've kind of seen it sort of kind of with Dead or Alive 5 with the introduction of Virtua Fighter characters in there, and I thought that would be a good thing because it was something I was clamoring for quite a while. But then when we finally got it, we realized how different those two universes are, those two fighting systems are, and how they don't work together. Like, Virtua Fighter characters are made to be like slow and methodical, and Dead or Alive is very fast paced and like frantic, and that doesn't mix. I would like to see like a Virtua Fighter take on the Street Fighter universe, like a fully realized Street Fighter 3D game. I would like to see that. I would like to see.
And EX Plus Alpha doesn't count because it was still kind of 2D.
It was still 2D. It was.
Yeah.
But that was still at its core a Street Fighter game. I would like to see like a total re-imaging of Street Fighter in a 3D fighting game scheme is what I'm saying.
I would. You know what? And I said this before. I think the last era of great gaming ended with the Dreamcast. I'm gonna be very.
Yes.
I'm gonna be very honest.
Yes.
I think last era of good gaming ended with the Dreamcast because you had developers just doing, like, everyone was doing something different. It was just like it's many times I'll just go and look at the roster of roster games that Dreamcast had to offer, and it was just amazing. Like, even today, you give me a controller and pop some, what was that, Zombie Revenge? And
Zombie Revenge was the Power Stone,
Okay.
Dynamite Cop 2.
Yes, Dynamite Cop 2. What was the other one? The Die Hard.
Die Hard Arcade.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it was
man.
it was quite a few. I mean, like,
And then, you know what? Remember, what was that? Marvel vs. Capcom 1 had the 4-player fighter support. And I haven't seen that since.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we grew up. Like me, I really think the best 3D fighting game I ever played was Power Stone, the first one.
Yeah, that was great, man.
I love Power Stone. Power Stone was one of my favorites. Power Stone was one of my favorites. Remember Techromancer?
Yes.
Yes.
Techromancer was one of my favorites.
I remember that. There was a lot of games for the Dreamcast that was like good with fighting. It's like Last Blade 2.
Yes.
The Psychic Force.
Psychic Force is great. I love that
Force
game.
was great. That was a good fighting game. That was a very good fighting
Very
game.
decent story too, you know.
Mhm.
But some folks might have a difference of opinion. I liked it. I really did. It was a lot of fun.
I mean, Dreamcast basically utilized what arcades were like good at, and then basically made it into like a home console. Let's see what he said. If like Capcom could make games using SNK characters or Square Enix characters could use Capcom characters.
Cross licensing, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think we've seen it in the past. You know, with Capcom versus SNK 2. Capcom made that game without SNK support. You know, it was the first one as well. SVC Chaos, same thing. SNK did it, no support from Capcom. It's like, hey, you use the license to make our stuff, so on and so forth. So, if they can revisit that, that would be cool. But being that we're on the Nintendo boycott, I'm only mentioning this because one of our viewers had told me about Project X Zone 2 that's supposed to be coming out. You know, you got Strider in there, Morgan, a lot of cool.
Right, the game that's coming out for the Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah, you know,
And
because
Nintendo's done. They are so done.
yeah. But then you got the Dragon Ball Shin Bulgiden 4 coming out.
Yeah, 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, holy hell, that looks great. You know, I'm gonna ask my sister if I could borrow her DS if it still works.
Let's see what Ray said. It took them taking upon themselves to help make that game for Ed Boon to finally get a beat 'em up like game for Mortal Kombat that was actually good. I think he's talking about Shaolin Monks.
You know what? They need to do another one. They
No,
need to do
it was one
Shaolin
that
Monks.
was better than Shaolin Monks. Do you remember it was the story of Sub-Zero. It came out.
Oh, Sub-Zero Mythology for the PlayStation.
I actually
1.
enjoyed that game too.
You know, Maximilian was streaming that game the other day.
Yeah, and I forgot how bad it was. It was just so bad.
Especially, I hated the mechanic though, where you have to literally, just like in MKX, you have to hit, I think, L2 or L1 to change the direction of where you're facing in order for you to fight or
That was
to
like
jump.
Guilty Gear Asuka. You know, like that game Asuka would have been a lot better had they just, let you turn around or whatever, like, without hitting them.
Oh shit, Katana looked cool in that outfit.
You know what, Alex? I don't mean to interrupt, but I was going through your channel, and I saw you playing this emulator. I think this Mugen game. Was it a Mugen? Or it was an emulator of, what was it? Streets of Rage 4?
Oh, the Streets of Rage 4 high res.
Where'd you get that from? You made that?
No, I didn't make it. The people I associate with made it.
No, it was good. I just didn't like the fact that all the black guys were just getting beat up.
No, you know what? Oh, where's On Your Knees when you need them? You know,
bro.
You know what? Project Justice had asked me for that game too. It's a high res beta. It's used on the OpenBOR engine. I was learning how to program a couple of things for it. I also have what is that? Not the same team, but another group also made Masters of the Universe beat 'em up with that engine. Matter of fact, it's on the page.
I did see that, and I actually saw a fight. Again, I was skulking through your channel, and I happened to see, what was it? It was a fighting game like Masters of the Universe.
Well, you do
it was
know.
like a 2D fighting game.
There's the SNK Sprite one, and there's the Marvel vs. Capcom version style sprites that I'm working on. Like, I'm actually remaking He-Man. Like, I was gonna use Cable, but I think Captain America has a better body base for it. Also, Skeletor is gonna be made off of like Doctor Doom. With the hood and everything. And I was just gonna edit it and whatnot. But it's just gonna take time because work, military,
I know.
podcast.
I know.
Yeah, I used to like when I made Goken from Mugen, it took me like a year to do all his sprites, and that was phase 1. When Doi, who inspired my character, helped me like redo the sprites. I don't know how. One day he sent it to me. I like, oh shoot, new sprites. Boom, there you go.
I hear you.
You know, but
I know. I still to this day enjoy looking at your Dante that you made years ago, bro.
man, I got so much hate for that.
I know, but like, and I was trying to explain to people. I was like, bro, I'm telling you.
I was the first to make him attempt to make him 2D playable. You know what I mean? And even when we went to Comic-Con and I was talking to the panel when Marvel vs. Capcom the original was coming out, I know they were looking at Mugen content. You know, like with Ghost Rider and freaking Silver Surfer and all that other stuff. So Dante Super. You know, like, and I don't care what the Mugen community has to say because they pushed me away. But when Dante's gun super came from my character, nobody can deny that.
Yo,
Seth Killian even said, "Hey, oh, new Mugen Order, we know who you are."
yo,
That meant a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Damn, bro!" Like,
Capcom has done that for years, plagiarizing people's stuff. But like,
but you know, I don't own intellectual.
They would take away from SNK games all the time. SNK were actually the first ones to start doing the supers and all that other stuff in their fight.
Yeah. Well, it was Fatal Fury 2, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
and then Super Turbo started taking it.
Exactly.
You know? And then you had games ahead of its time like Breaker's Revenge.
Yo,
you know what I mean?
Yo,
like
that game was so hot.
Breaker's Revenge. I mean, like that's a fighting game franchise that should come back. But then again, to preserve its majesty by how far along that game was, and the fighting game community was just not ready for it.
Yeah. Real quick, Ray Sakura said that Alex got us Goken in Street Fighter 4.
What's that?
Ray Sakura, the guy that you know, said that you got Goken in Street Fighter 4.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I freaking what was it? I had made my Goken was playable with this Street Fighter 3 sprites before they announced him for Street Fighter 4. I have no idea, but you know, it's coincidental that all of a sudden, Goken comes back from the dead and he's official playable character in Street Fighter 4. Gee, I wonder how that happened. You know, so I mean, it's what it is. You know what? I think a good direction for the future of fighting games and whatnot. Start looking at, you know, I know Capcom has already been doing it, but make it official. Do it like a reality show. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this character came up, or this Mugen creator came up with this design, and we're gonna, you know, boom, bring it to something official. You know, but I just took it like this. It was an honor to have been considered by Race and many others, because in Mugen Guild forums, there was a lot of folks said, hey, had I not made that character, maybe we might not have seen him in Street Fighter 4. Who knows?
Yeah, and that's what he was just mentioning, that they took notice in the Mugen community, and if it wasn't for you, you know, putting him in particular games and stuff like that, they would have never thought about resurrecting the actual character.
You know what's funny too? Like, there were a lot of things that I had in my character that I saw, like with the Hurricane Kick. Originally, my Goken's Hurricane Kick arced. But then when you see it in Street Fighter 4, it went straight up. So I was like, all right, you want to...
You mean arced as in like what Ken did in Marvel vs. Street Fighter?
Yeah, it went up, but it came back down. But then in Street Fighter 4, it just went up. So technically, it was like, okay, that's Goken's Dragon Punch. Like, that's his anti-air. And the Senku Goshoha is more of his Hurricane Kick. He's just the reverse of the other characters, you know? Okay. But, you know what, Race, thank you for mentioning that, because I never considered it like that, but, you know,
it could be. I mean, you never know. But you also need to do that idea that you spoke about before, about you doing your Mugen.
Yeah, as I'm working on characters, I'm going to stream it from now on, you know.
You need to do that.
Like I'll do where, when I was doing the sprites for my He-Man with Cable, I actually recorded it, and then I sped up, I time-lapsed it, and you know, I'm gonna start doing that in the future, just so you guys can give me more feedback. I wish I had access to all of this when I was making Dante, because he might have came out a little bit better, but you know, I was new. That was my very first character, you know, so
Remember when you did Dante, Alex, and I was congratulating you and everything, and you was like, "Man," he said they stole that from me.
No, but Dante belongs to Capcom. You know that wasn't my intellectual property, but my attempt to make him 2D playable. You can't deny it. You look in the forums, you look at the dates, you see when
that's why I came and congratulated you. I was like, "Wow!" I was like, "Congratulations! They put your Dante on Marvel vs. Capcom 3."
Well, Dante's not mine, but you know,
like a good day or two, you was like, "Man, I didn't do that for them."
it's all good. But you know what? You know, I appreciate the support. So it is what it is.
Yo, Alex, I'm gonna put something on your Facebook right quick for you to check out, and I want your reaction right here on the show.
All right. Well, I'm actually checking out Takeda. What, isn't this the guy that was trained by Scorpion?
Takeda?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I honestly kept myself away from the game until I
Oh man, he's like
Dawson.
He has like ranged attacks and all that.
But not to stray away, because we kind of strayed away a little bit far from the main
No, because
topic.
you know what? That's why I was saying the topics were in like phases and whatnot.
Yeah, it
you know?
was, but I mean, it was still good because it still gives people the information that, like, okay, these guys are actually heavily inverse with like fighting games from the past and the future, and even in current state with Mugen and how did it affect. You know, it makes sense still, but kind of.
But like Nelson, do you want to do a quick summary of those?
Wait, Alex, go to your Facebook right now,
All right,
now,
hold
for
on,
like
let me-
2 seconds.
All right. Well, while he's doing that, basically everything has came over the course of the years. Some people respected each other during, you know, the old school fighting games, and it was like more polished and more redefined back then. But then a lot of people also have arguments and complaints that, you know, in the new generation of fighting games is just to cater to either, you know, hype appeal or to just get more casual players to feel like they're actually doing something within the actual game. Like what Demizo was saying, like they're sitting there mashing buttons, but they're performing like the best flashy combos in the world by basically more or less doing nothing. And on another perspective, I don't like the fact that people can get that much vast information as with the whole YouTube and SRK and stuff like that, when
Different times, man.
all of us on this panel had to sit there and grind and learn this stuff and write it on pieces of paper or tissue at the arcade spots or the bodegas.
But Nelson, that was our time, though. You know what?
Money we dumped into those machines to make sure we perfected our craft.
Yeah.
But you know what? No matter what, it sucks. But that was our time.
That was out. You know,
and like typewriters and stuff. I remember seeing typewriters fade away, cell phone booths fade away. You know what I mean? And you can ask certain kids like, "Hey, did you know what a typewriter? What's that?" You know, that was just our time. That you know.
Yeah.
I miss that though. I really do miss the physical interaction with another player at an arcade.
That is
to give
true.
them that respect, you know, and it's hard to come by.
What? It's all that also falls onto the social aspect. Like we're complete, as I stated before, our generation is completely different from this generation. And I mean, I never thought I would be at the point to where I would say like, "Oh, in my time I did this," but I mean, you know what I mean?
I mean, Danae, a few years ago you did say that, and then now look at where we're at.
Exactly.
I remember that.
Exactly.
Get off my lawn.
Unbelievable. But Nelson, yeah, you were doing the summary.
Yeah, but you know, it's like basically we came a long way. I would have to honestly say we came a long way from chickens scratching our way at the arcades, getting the brown paper bags with a pen to write down notes and combos.
You use paper bags.
Learned. Yo, I used paper bags as paper to write at the store when I couldn't run home and get my notebook. I said, "Yo, can I get that brown paper bag?" I had a black marker, wrote down the combos right on the fucking thing, and took it home and practiced it.
Oh, another thing I wanted to add. There was a time where you went to the arcades and somebody would do a cool combo and you ask them how to do it, and then they wouldn't tell you.
Hell yeah. They was like, "Nah,
Assholes.
man, that's my secret, yo."
Yeah, now everything's just like free knowledge, man. You got Twitch, you got Maximilian doing breakdown videos and teaching folks and everything.
But you know, at the same token, I think it's a great thing because I mean, I use some of those teaching videos too. I mean, sometimes to like perfect certain characters that I'm using, even though I don't play fighting games as much as I used to. But you know, every now and then, if I like when I started getting back into when they gave out Injustice on the PS4 for free, I went on there and saw a couple of combos, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, okay, and I tried it out and everything. I was like, all right, cool. But I mean, you know, it's the times we live in. That's the new information highway. You know.
Yeah, sadly but true. You are right about that. But I would like as not as something to flourish right away because one, I'm broke, so I can't really just make it happen in 2 seconds. But hopefully, if this company does grow more and it becomes more known, and the community and flourishes better, I would like to make either a storefront or a place where people could have that same interaction as they used to back in the old school days with the arcades, and actually give that respect to the person right there on the spot. Teach them there on the spot. Make them come and earn that effort that it's needed, instead of being one of the 2 whatever million bitches online fucking running away after one fight and then disconnecting on you by pulling the Ethernet cable or turning off the power.
Well, I mean, again, that's the new society we live in.
Degenerates.
They're completely different from us. When we were coming up, like, there was times Alex beat the brakes off of me sometime in Street Fighter. I just keep right on playing. Until
so it became more difficult to win.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, man.
But again, it falls back onto what I was saying. This new generation of gamer, of fighter, of people, they have to win. They can't fathom losing. They don't understand that when you lose, you keep playing better. No, they just want to win. And if they can't win, it's just like their whole world is shattered.
Yeah,
it's like childish stuff, man.
Now you gotta see how many like curses and stuff like that I done got on PlayStation because I done beat people in the video game. Me, I get beat up. Life goes on. As soon as I turn off the console, that's it. I don't even remember who I fought.
Danae, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Do you think Mortal Kombat is more meant to be played with a controller or an arcade stick? Because the way I'm seeing this, I'm not gonna remember to hit the right bumper all the time for interacting.
I went and got that crappy PDP pad for now.
Oh, the fake looking Sega Saturn controller.
Oh my God! I hate PDP controllers because I had one for Marvel. I had one for Marvel and for Ultimate Marvel, and it broke. How can I say it? I had to replace it like 3 times until eventually I just sent it back to the company.
That's crazy.
And I purchased 3 of them.
That's crazy, dude. Those fight pads. I'd rather just play on an arcade stick and call it.
That's the best.
You know what? Reptile's design looks really badass, though. I wonder why he looks like a Lin Kuei ninja, but Reptile.
Well, he's older now. This is like 25 years in the future.
Okay.
Everybody's old.
Okay. So, Nelson, continue with the summary and wrap up.
Goddamn, I almost lost my place. But yeah, so basically everything has changed for either the better or the worse to some people. Like I said, I'll leave it to you guys. It will be your opinion to write in the comment section below on the YouTube channel. That's why we specifically put this topic out there, because we want to actually get a lot of feedback from you players, whether if you're considered yourself old school from the early 80s into 90s, or the new school generation, which basically kind of started in 2008 2009 in a sense. So we would like to hear all you guys' feedback, and if you ever would like to join us on the panel to talk about more discussions such as this topic, feel free to hit us up, and we'll definitely invite you onto the show. You could just give us your Skype name or add you on the call, just like how we added Tough Nerd Toys and also Free Play Mode Demizzle. Very easy to get in contact with us, so just don't go too crazy with the talking, because we had some viewers that take it overboard. But any final wrap-ups from any one of you guys, whether if it's shout-outs, any new announcements?
And you can plug your sites and whatnot, and we'll go from there. Free play mode, go first.
Free play mode and all that good shit. Yeah. 1 o'clock in the morning, tired as fuck.
All right, Danae, you want to plug your website? And
yeah, you can, but if you want to. But I'd rather give a plug to you guys for doing an awesome job all these years. You and Free Play Mode, a.k.a. David Aaron, and the crew that you got here, Alex Lexus, who else? Nelson Rios and the whole squad. You guys do an excellent job. Keep doing what you're doing.
much appreciated.
Much appreciated.
And shout out to those who actually tuned in to watch us live.
Oh, wait, I got a shout out. Forgot. Dark
Yeah.
Prince, I want your money.
Tag, yo, keep ever bothering that man. Yo, leave him be. He done.
Hey, David
Yes.
Aaron, you know your free to play podcast that you give usually on a Saturday is like my Saturday morning cartoons. I look forward to it when you put them up there.
Yeah.
Just as well as the NGOs.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, this week now I'll be able to resume Infamous, First Light, and the Rayman series. So that should be coming
That'll
to
be great. That'll be
to an
great.
end.
Yeah, but
Alright,
we
so
also
that's all I
have
got,
to,
Nelson.
all right, so I'll make my announcements now. Since apparently I must thank this man infinitely because there's not enough thanks I can give to this person. Thank you, Playboy78, for your generous contribution to this company and allowing myself to be able to get Mortal Kombat X to be able to stream alongside with Alex and Shinwar and possibly Takuma if he gets the game in the next hour or so. So hopefully we'll be able to do streams on the Xbox One where we'll invite people to play with us if they have a lobby system. I have no idea yet. And the same thing for the PlayStation 4. I will also be getting a copy on the PlayStation 4. We'll play with people on both sides of the console. Probably do a review, see which one is better. You know, hopefully it doesn't have to come to that because they should be the same shit.
Yeah.
But,
Oh my goodness, that freaking X-ray move is ridiculous. No way.
They're brutal. They are brutal, bro.
Yo, you hit that. A lot of this stuff, you hit somebody with that, they're dead. That's it.
What you
And-
talking about the Mortal Kombat universe? Everybody is just like
You get hit with an X-ray move, and then this woman, you use her and throw her into the opponent. Like, unbelievable.
there's a
But
lot
I'm
of
sorry.
crazy things that's happening in that game. But definitely also, guys, don't be afraid to check out the New Gaming Order official website, newgamingorder.com. Basically, you'll find every piece of information, whether it's our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everyone's Twitch. And when I mean everyone, I mean the entire staff.
Yeah,
Every
so
one of their Twitch. So if you want to see us stream, like right now, Alex is currently streaming Mortal Kombat X, probably for a little while long, and then he's probably going to go off to bed. But we would like to hear your comments, your questions, your feedback. This really helps us grow and engage more with the viewers. So I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to give another shout out to NYC Playboy78 for, of course, always being a ridiculously generous person that he is to help us out further progress in the company. Shout outs to Salty Gamers Michael Hurdle. Shout outs to Tough Nut Toys Danae, always doing his thing, whether if he's, you know, reviewing games on the PlayStation 4 or just doing his thing. And also to Free Play Mode Demizzle, you know, always having a little detailed yet crazy topics within his videos. All right, and that's all I gotta say. So, any last words before I wrap this up?
we out like the Juggernaut, bitch. You can't stop me. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Peace.
And you said you wasn't gonna say it, but you did.
Did it anyway.
All right, guys, this will
Damn.
conclude the almost an hour and 40 minutes. Holy shit! So that will conclude this very long uploaded podcast I have to put up now. God damn! But hopefully,
Damn.
hopefully we'll be able to do
Damn,
more of these videos. And yeah, thanks for watching. And I'm not making any promises. If I or myself, Okami, or Alex doesn't come on to stream right after this is over, guaranteed tomorrow afternoon we will be streaming Mortal Kombat X for a very long time and engage with the viewers. So with that, we're out.
Peace.
Peace.